Folks, next up, let's see it. Brad Katona taking on Garrett Armfield. And this fight will be the prelim headliner, and it will be contested in the bantamweight division, guys. So we've got a 135-pound bout here between the only two-time Ultimate Fighter winner, Brad Katona, taking on Garrett Armfield. And Garrett is a guy that was signed to the UFC on short notice to fight David Onama. David needed an opponent. Somebody pulled out on short notice against him. So they said, hey, we'll do a rematch. These guys had already fought, I believe, on the amateur scene. David Onama got the better of him there. He got the better of him once again in the octagon. We faded him. Me and JWB, I believe, put out the graphic that day, and we had Onama by sub, and he was able to go out there and deliver plus 500. So now we've got, a win for Garrett Armfield, right? He finally got back on track, went out there and delivered to Shomi Kazama from Consciousness in the first round. But now he's got Brad Katona, who I think is a little bit more difficult of a challenge, right? Brad, not the most prolific finisher you've ever seen, only four finish wins in his career in 13 professional wins. However, what we've seen from Brad Katona is that he is a guy that can go out there and push a pretty serious pace. He can mix up the wrestling and the grappling. He can go out there and throw some hands on the feet, but he can also take some damage, right? He lost to Merab Dvalishvili and Hunter Azure via decision. And one of those losses is not like the other. Hunter Azure ended up getting cut from the UFC, I believe, whereas Merab Dvalishvili is maybe one fight away from a title shot. So Brad Katona definitely did not have an easy run of it, but he was able to submit Bryce Mitchell back in 2018. So he does have some real wins on his resume. Also beat Kyler Phillips via controversial majority decision on the Ultimate Fighter in a shorter fight. Was able to beat Timur Valiev via controversial split decision as well. Brad Katona just finds a way to win these fights, and he is a Canadian, born in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and he's now training out of SPG Ireland. But I do think that Brad Katona is maybe a little bit better than a Johnny Walker, right? Maybe a little bit more coachable as well. And I think that Brad Katona might be able to go out there and get this win. Now, he is a favorite in this spot, and we have seen that Brad Katona is 2-1 as a favorite for a pretty meager 3.3% ROI. And on the other side of things here, you've got Garrett Armfield, who is 0-1 as a UFC underdog, and he did have a minus 100% ROI as a result. So you look at the data here, not a huge data set to work with, but it does suggest that Brad Katona has been profitable as a favorite, albeit slightly. And I think that Brad Katona makes more sense to get the job done here. Personally, he's never been finished in his pro career. 2 losses, both via decision. And I just think that he's a pretty tough guy that typically finds a way to win. And I think he's probably got the better wins overall on his resume as well. So give me Brad Katona to go out there and get the job done via decision in all likelihood, but I'm not going to rule out his ability to go out there and submit somebody like Garrett Armfield, who's been submitted on a number of occasions in his career.